guys, today I'm going to show you guys how I can dry beans off-grid. So last night I started out by soaking. I probably put about this much dry beans in this container, about up to there. So I would say that's around the 2-cup mark, maybe a little bit less. And I filled it up with water and I soaked it overnight, and you can see how much they swell up. Okay, so since my pot is almost full, I'm gonna do this in 2 pots. I'm gonna rinse this and drain it, and I'm gonna add, and then I'm gonna cover it with about 2 inches of water in each pot. Okay, now that I have both my pots full of beans and 2 inches of headspace above the beans, I'm going to, I'm canning already. 2 inches of water above the beans. I'm gonna let these come to a boil and let them soak for, I don't know, I'm just gonna let them go for a while, honestly. I'm gonna clean up my kitchen and just let these guys hang out. Okay, I'm just doing some more beans for tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm gonna do black beans, and I'm gonna do the same thing. 3 jars, fill them up with water, let them soak overnight. Real quick tip, you guys wanna go over and shake your beans when you're soaking them every so often. I try to go over like once an hour at first and give them a shake, because they'll wanna swell up at the bottom of your jar, and then they won't soak up the full amount of water that they need to, and it's really hard to get them out. You kinda gotta stab in there with a knife to get them loosened up. It's just a pain. So make sure that you go and shake your beans every now and then. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna fill up my jars with my beans and put them in my canner. Okay, it says to leave 1 inch headspace. I don't have one of those fancy measures, so I'm just gonna leave it down here because I know that this is about 1 inch. I'm gonna add my teaspoon of salt, and I'm going to finish filling up the rest of my jars and get them in the pressure canner. And just if you guys are interested, I always use the Ball Blue Book when I'm canning. Okay, all of my jars are filled with beans. Now I'm just going to put the rings on finger tight. So this is why I call this off-grid canning. I obviously heated up my beans on my cook stove, and I'm going to use our propane Camp Chef for canning. I forgot to add, I'm gonna turn this on for a few minutes just to get the water warm. I'm not gonna get it super hot. My liquid inside of my jars is pretty warm, so I'm gonna try and get it about the same temperature so I'm not shocking my glass jars when I stick them in there. I don't want to break any jars. So to make it even more off-grid, I pulled hot water out of the back of our cook stove, and it's nice and hot, and I'm gonna just pour it in there. Our canner is well used, obviously. It's all stained up. So I'm going to do that one more time. Where that black line is, that's where I usually put my water, because that's just where I always get it to. Okay, all 7 of my jars are in my canner. I'm going to take my little thing off here, and I'm going to let this come up to heat. We're losing tamarack needles, so there's tamarack needles everywhere. I'm going to let this vent steam for 10 minutes after this comes up to a boil, and then I'm going to put my, this is a 15-pound weight gauge, back on and let it come up to pressure. And it's going to go for 1 hour and 30 minutes according to the book, so I need to add 5 minutes to that, our elevation. So it's going to go for 1 hour and 35 minutes at 11 pounds of pressure, because I need to add a pound. To throw a little disclaimer out there, it's nice and cold out this morning. We are not fully off-grid yet. We are in the process of going that direction. So this is off-grid canning, truly is, but we are not fully off-grid yet. We still have power to the house, and we still use some power amenities, but we're slowly trying to get off of that. We go. Okay, so it's already come up to pressure quite a bit, and I get it all the way up to where it needs to be, and then I'm going to let it hang out for 1 hour and 35 minutes. Okay, my pressure is completely down. My little dilly whopper back here is down as well. I don't actually know what that thing is called, so if you know, let me know down in the comments. So I'm gonna take this off very carefully. This is very hot, and if you're not careful, I have burned myself with just the steam by moving the lid too fast. So please be extra careful when you're moving the lid off of your canner. And that's what they look like in there. So I'm going to take them and put them on a towel and let them sit for 12. I usually do mine for 24 hours, but the directions I believe said 12. I'm not going to remove my rings. I'm not going to tighten them. I'm not going to touch anything. I'm literally just going to take them from my canner to my towel and show you guys in just a sec.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, and happy homesteading. Bye. Han.
Say and.
And.
Say subscribe.
You bet yourself.